I'm just waking up here. So good morning to you. Let's get something on the screen for you. This works. Thank you for your patience. I'll just give a little opportunity for anyone to if you dare. And hold your attention the best. Beautiful. Okay, so as I am waking up, I am going to share a theory with you. If you want to, you can call it the MTTT theory or MTT. TTT? Is that what it would be? The Me Too Tech theory. So I've basically been thinking for a while, what is going on with this sort of alarming, disproportionate vigor and love for tech, specifically for artificial intelligence. It's basically when it comes to men. Did you hear that? Did ya? Now don't go crazy, y'all. Why do men love artificial intelligence so much? And I have this theory that is coming together in my mind, in my work, in this community, in this space. And I keep asking myself, why do men love artificial intelligence so very, very much? Thank you for everyone that's been brave enough to step into the room today. Step on up. Why do men love artificial intelligence? And I have this theory that it is a direct reaction to the Me Too movement, which of course was shared largely via technology, via the interwebs, via social media, via women speaking up and telling their stories of survival, of being victims of an array of different crimes revolving around, trigger warning, sexual abuse, sexual assault, R.A. P.E. And just a general reflection of what it is like being a woman in this world. And if you actually wrote a timeline out and you looked at the timeline of the Me Too movement, which I will also note, which is very important, would not have been able to exist if it wasn't for the Black Lives Matter movement. Okay? I could probably make a different video about that, so I won't I won't lean into that too much. But I will say that the women's movement throughout time has always been fundamentally, vitally connected to the movement, rejecting all projections. Welcome on in. Who just woke up, hey? Come on in, try and interfere. I dare ya. the the human rights of Black people has always been connected to women's rights. Women's rights has always been connected to the human rights of Black people, Black, brown, and Indigenous people. So the brave world-changing actions connected to the Black Lives Matter movement were the um, the ground to stand upon, the the it opened up a space. It opened up space and opportunity for the Me Too movement. Yeah, so important. And during the Me Too movement, there were billions of countless number, let me just say a countless number of women coming forward telling their stories of surviving sexual abuse, stalking, predatory behavior, surviving RA dot 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 PE. Yeah? And it goes without saying there is a trigger warning connected to this video. Thank you everyone for being here. Thank you for being you. If you were a timeline now of the Black Lives Matter movement and the Me Too movement, you will see that all of the men making decisions, deciding where money goes, the so-called leaders of the Western world and beyond, not just the Western world, whatever the hell that means, started disproportionately putting money, putting effort, and actually reliance on artificial intelligence. I'm hearing somebody say, but there's women in tech. There's women who work in artificial intelligence. Correct. It would be very interesting to know, though, how many of those women, just for example, are black. How many of those women, just for example, are brown or indigenous? I'm not going to speak about queer identity within that space. I feel like that's a separate conversation, but of course it is very linked and connected. Here I could take time to talk about the pride movement that happens all over the world, not just America. But like the manosphere, did we talk about the manosphere? Was there a manosphere? It's so weird when you say that word a lot of times. Before the Me Too movement. Yeah, so it's a theory. It's a theory. I'd love to know what y'all think. Put your comments down. I bet some of you are biting at the bit to comment about this. So go ahead, chuck it in the comments. If the internet shall allow you to, right? And so I've always known that women are really smart. You know, human beings are incredible. But part of the Me Too movement, the undercurrent result that happened, connected to, as a result of, and of course in perfect alignment and timing, connected to the human evolution, you know, the mass ascension that we have all been moving towards. I've said this before in this space. We've all been moving towards this for millennia, right? Since human beings first existed, we have been moving towards this evolution in consciousness. This has been brought about even more so, ironically, and that is the catch-22, isn't it? This has been brought about even more so by us being able to communicate with each other and by people being able to self-publish their own work, people being able to tell their own stories, people being able to connect with other people that have lived the experiences that we individually have via the internet. The Me Too movement, as well as the Black Lives Matter movement, crucially has relied on social media, which is definitely not what the creators of social media wanted for it, right? We all know this, right? Right? Because the catch-22 of the internet and social media is that the bigots can also speak. The far-right conservatives can also speak. But so can the activist. So can the survivors. So can the Black, brown, and Indigenous people that previously have had our voices erased from history. And so can women. And so have women. And part of the results and the effect that happened after the Me Too movement and connected to the Me Too movement, which if you don't know, please go and research. I don't know how, but part of it was women showing just how flipping clever we are, just how smart we are, just how powerful we are, and how much knowledge and wisdom is within women. And I'm just using the word women right now because I believe that it's a larger, more complex conversation that may confuse this video if I go into the nuances of gender. Okay? And so then all these men are backing creators of of tech that is actually disempowering men in quite a profound and disturbing way. And to me, that's really interesting, that's really troubling, and that's very telling. I believe that the core reason that the world is trusting in and relying so heavily on artificial intelligence is because the surge of incredibly intelligent women, incredibly powerful women becoming more empowered and creating more world-changing work leading up to, during, and directly after the Me Too movement. And the tech world is becoming increasingly sexist, increasingly misogynist, and increasingly oppressive. Coming back to the beginning of this video, that is definitely resulting in absolutely racist, bigoted bots. A lot of people are coming forward talking about their stories of trying to apply for jobs that are now going through a filtering system of artificial intelligence that is racist, that is misogynist, and that is at its core being trained by people who do not see women as equals. And I will go furthermore and say do not see Black, brown, and Indigenous people, or anyone who is not white, and sometimes, and I will say it, of a certain Asian descent. Many, many, many of the people creating artificial intelligence and running these companies see people who are not white and not of a certain Asian descent sometimes as lesser. So that is just white supremacy. That is white supremacy, which is as old as the hills. And I am so sick of fighting a painstakingly bigoted algorithm just to have my work seen, just to have my voice heard. It's unacceptable. And it is not new. There's nothing new about white supremacy. And there ain't nothing new about men wanting to silence women and wanting to make us look stupid and have us altering ourselves into the most stereotypical, basic Stepford wife version of ourselves in order to have this bigoted, sexist algorithm show any kind of favor to us. Yeah, tell me what you think about this theory, y'all. Me Too tech theory. Me Too. MTTT. The Me Too tech theory. I have also spoken a few times about the amount of women that are having their work stolen, plagiarized, and copied. In fact, I think there was just recently a court case where I can't remember what tech, quote unquote, genius company has literally stolen writers' work, predominantly women, from what I understand. Hashtag emotional intelligence. And use that to train AI. The larger conversation, of course, the larger, more concerning and scary conversation that many people are avoiding having is the fact that AI is absolutely, without question, part of a population control program, population control plan, whatever word you want to use, that is connected to the building of these so-called smart cities. And who's going to be choosing what women are allowed into those smart cities? Hey, just how smart are the women allowed to be in those spaces? Hmm. Mm. 17. Ooh, just on 16. I speak about magic in this channel. I speak about energy. I speak about healing. But I am so much more than a healer. And women are so much more than baby makers, homemakers, pretty influencers to just look pretty in these spaces for y'all. And during the Black Lives Matter movement, Black, brown, and Indigenous people were connecting and empowering themselves and empowering each other and creating so much change. And a lot of that came from the ability to be able to film, and this is important, y'all, the ability to be able to film racial abuse and violence and targeting that came and still does from police officers, from law enforcement. And that again is not what Mr. Zuckerberg had in mind. That again, I will reiterate, is not what these tech companies had in mind. And that is why we're seeing so many people talk about the battle for their own consciousness, for their own peace of mind, for their own ability to be able to actually think. during the Metoo movement, so many women started coming forward, exposing the truths of different industries, of different corporations, of different leaders, of different superpowers. And it goes without saying that it is not only men who abuse, stalk, intimidate, assault, and RA ... These are systemic structures that have been designed to oppress Black, brown, and Indigenous people and women, feminines, which of course includes many members of the LGBTQIA plus community, the queers. Yeah, just a theory though. And you know me, I'm just a girl. So much love from Codes of Harmony.